Okay, today we're going to talk about finding the volume of a prism and cylinder. I've given you a worksheet. It has some of the information on it, so you won't have to spend a lot of time copying it down, but we're going to go through all the calculations. Now, if we remember from yesterday, the prism is a three-dimensional object. Top and bottom are the same. Same thing with the cylinder. Top and bottom are the same, just happen to be circles. They can be slanted or they could be straight up and down. To find the volume, you take the area of the base, whatever that may be, and you multiply it by the height. Now you have to keep in mind, on a regular prism or cylinder, the height is straight up and down. If it's oblique, you got to make sure to find out which one is straight up and down and not slanted. So let's look at our first. Here we have three different prisms. These are what we call rectangular prisms. So rectangles on the top and bottom. You'll notice they look like cubes. So when we talk about volume, we're talking about the space inside the figure. So in this case, cubes can represent that space. So let's look. We need to find the base area of the first one in part A. Well, the base, you have a length and width of 2 centimeters and 4 centimeters, which would give you a base area of 8 centimeters squared. Remember, anytime we do area, it's square units. We now need the height of the prism. So height is straight up and down, in this case, 3 centimeters. Now to find volume, all you do is you multiply these two things, base area and height. So 8 times 3 is 24, and we write it as 24 centimeters cubed, or cubic centimeters. So volume is always cubed. Now, to understand this in real life, if you look at these cubes, and if you were to count them all up, there would be 24 cubes in that figure in part A. So that's kind of another way of looking at volume. If we look at part B, again, same thing, we got to find the base area. So at the bottom, you got a length and width of 3 centimeters and 12 centimeters. That gives you a base area of 36 centimeters squared. Height is straight up and down again, so that's 8 centimeters, which gives you a volume of 288 cubic centimeters. So in that figure, there's 288 cubes. Imagine having to draw all of them. Probably wouldn't be a lot of fun. Now we have our last one. You can see there's a lot of cubes. So let's figure it out. So base area, length and width of the bottom, because it's a rectangle, 10 centimeters and 30 centimeters, gives us 300 square centimeters. The height straight up and down is 10 centimeters. That gives us a volume of 3,000 cubic centimeters. So in that picture, there are 3,000 cubes. Again, you wouldn't want to have to count all of them one by one, but this is where we use our formula, base area times the height. Now we're going to look at cylinders. Here we want to find the volume of the cylinder, circle on top and bottom. We have a radius of 4 inches and a height of 10 inches. If you've forgotten about the area of a circle formula, it's pi times the radius squared, which means we take 4, which is our radius, we square it, that's 16, and we multiply by 3.14 for pi. We do that to make sure that all the calculations are the same for every single person. So 16 times 3.14 gives you 50.24 square inches. Our height is 10 inches, which means that our volume, same thing, multiply base area times height, should give you 502.4 cubic inches. Again, don't forget, anytime we deal with volume, it's cubic inches. If we deal with area, it's square inches. Our next one we want to look at is this right trapezoidal prism. So there's a height of 10 centimeters on it. You have two bases, 4 centimeters and 8 centimeters, and the height is 5 centimeters of the trapezoid. Now, if you notice, it's kind of flattened down, and they say the height is 10. The reason is that when we look at a prism, both the top and bottom have to be the same, exactly the same. In order for that to work, that's the trapezoids. So we have to find the area of the trapezoid. Well, again, base 1 plus base 2 times the height divided by 2. So that means that's 8 plus 4, which is 12, times 5, then divided by 2, and that should give you 30 square centimeters. Now, the height, as it's listed in the problem, is 10 centimeters. So now that we have these two numbers, we multiply them together. That gives us 300 cubic centimeters. So sometimes the figure is not going to look exactly what you would expect. You're expecting to look at top and bottom being exactly the same. In this case, it's pushed off to the side, but we still use the same thing. So always look for the same thing, whether it's top or bottom, left or right, front and back, and that will help you determine your prism. Here we have an oblique cylinder. So this cylinder is kind of like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's slanted. We have a radius of 6 and a height of 7 inches. So again, area of a circle, pi r squared. So that means 6 squared, which is 36. 36 times 3.14 gives you a base area of 113.04 square inches. Our height is 7. So you multiply the two together, and that gives you a grand total of 791.28 cubic inches. So when we're finding the volume of a prism, you got to know which one's the base, so you can find the area of that one. Got to find the height, and then really all it comes down to is a simple multiplication, multiplying base area times height. So make sure you follow these rules for your work tonight, and hopefully it'll be pretty easy to do.